we find ourselves amidst the climactic finale of the World Pastry Championships' last day, a scene charged with excitement as everyone eagerly awaits the victor's revelation. Our protagonist, amid this sugary spectacle, envisions a world woven with sweets and is resolute in clinching victory to fulfill their most cherished childhood aspiration. Amidst the bustling preparations, participants receive instructions to ferry their crafted confections to the esteemed judge's table. Yet, fate plays its hand, and our protagonist's masterpiece meets a sudden fall, a puzzling twist that leaves them pondering. Amidst this perplexity, a poignant revelation surfaces. Our protagonist, even on the brink of passing away, craved to establish a land adorned with confections, bringing smiles to all, a stark juxtaposition to the world's inherent cruelty. As destiny would have it, a voice intervenes, extending a lifeline, a second chance under the new moniker Pastry Mille. Time progresses, and we find ourselves in a different realm. Within the Morley territory, our reborn protagonist resides, a domain rejuvenated by the unwavering toil of their father, Caseroin. Once infertile, the land now flourishes with 3 thriving villages, where the bounty of wheat, barley, and digitals is celebrated. Despite growing up under the tutelage of a revered warrior father, a nurturing mother, and 5 elder sisters, Pastry Mille finds themselves at odds, sweet cravings juxtaposed against their father's emphasis on martial prowess. Amidst this familial dynamic, a visitor named Sheets arrives, bearing tidings. A blend of good and bad news fills the air, and as the sun of disclosure rises, we learn of a promising harvest on the horizon, juxtaposed against the looming shadow of Count Ritesse and his marauding band of 50, threatening their very existence. Pastry ponders the impending situation, realizing that their enemies will likely continue their destruction, wreaking havoc on the fields and crops. He describes how the invaders trample the crops and contaminate them. Concerned about the threat, Pastry warns of the enemy's inevitable arrival in 2 months, and proposes gathering the men from the region and arming them with wooden spears. His father, however, understands the limitations of their manpower, as the combined forces of the 3 villages would barely reach 30 individuals. The hope of winning such a battle seems bleak. As an alternative, Pastry's father suggests the people might withdraw to the moat to stall for time until reinforcements arrive. Pastry acknowledges the challenge but realizes the importance of the battle, especially since the essential ingredients for making sweets, beans, and wheat are at stake. Pastry's determination to protect his dream of creating a prosperous land becomes evident, and he embraces his role as the future lord of the territory. His conviction to confront anyone hindering his vision intensifies. The discussion shifts to a potential battle strategy involving all the villagers, despite Pastry's intuition urging him to seek help. Pastry's father seems to heed this intuition, and there's mention of a sanctification ceremony, which might hold answers. The conversation transitions to the sanctification ceremony being the rite of passage in this world for coming of age. While Pastry is only 9 years old, his father believes his intelligence and skills surpass those of others his age, both in combat and intellectual pursuits. Pastry's mother intervenes, stating that he's still too young, desiring him to enjoy his childhood. Pastry's father announces his departure in 3 days and urges preparations for the ceremony. Pastry's mother involves Yoshi in helping prepare everything perfectly. Pastry finds the situation awkward and even feels embarrassed when his father dismisses his concerns. As a result, he is dressed in a dress and matching shoes by his sister, leading to an amusing scene. His mother inquires if he isn't her favorite, and he responds that he's getting dressed up for his dear brother. As makeup application begins, he finds it a personal ordeal, especially when his sisters arrive, longing to grow up quickly. After around 3 days, he departs with his father, noticing the latter's fatigue. His mother, sister, and friends bid him farewell, and his father informs Set that he'll be in charge while he teleports to the capital. Arriving in the bustling capital, the protagonist is amazed by the vibrant crowds and the plethora of unfamiliar things, like brown sugar and a variety of fruits. His excitement stems from having seen so little sweetness since his reincarnation. His father assures him that if he completes the ceremony without issues, he'll indulge his desires. This proposition thrills him, leading him to ponder his choices. While exploring, he's intrigued by healthier options in bonka, a rare acidic fruit harvested from the north. His father suggests growing them, which intrigues him further, now thinking like a future leader of his land. He considers the possibilities of creating glazes and baked goods, like apple pies, using honey-preserved fruits due to the scarcity of sugar. His father sees leadership potential in him, while he remains focused on his vision of a sweets-filled country. Upon arriving at the church, his father greets an old acquaintance, discussing their past meetings and the protagonist's role in protecting the people from frost. The conversation touches upon the upcoming consecration ceremony, with his sister questioning if genuine magic will be conferred. She reflects on her own ceremony, where she was informed of her limited magical potential. The protagonist's magical evaluation begins with his father measuring his magic. We see the protagonist tied up, and his father instructs him to endure this process. As the protagonist tastes the bitterness, he questions what it is, while his sister inquires about the next steps. However, the evaluator Sith responds that nothing is happening yet. The following step involves being confined in a dark, soundless place for several hours to extract the latent magical power within. This process is a solitary trial that tests one's resistance and determination. After around a day and a half, the father wonders why the protagonist hasn't emerged yet. He explains that they can't release him until the light fades and expresses amazement at the protagonist's endurance. He ponders the extent of the power the protagonist might possess within such a small frame. The father reassures that it's not easy for a normal person to endure so long inside. Throughout the ordeal, the protagonist's thoughts are on the world of sweets, wanting to spread happiness and create a unique land of confections. In a moment of contemplation, he experiences a sudden shift to another place, flooded with immense magic. When the father awakens him, he congratulates the protagonist for performing well. The protagonist asks if it's been a long time, indicating that he might have dreamt of many things during the process. The father informs him that, if Cake indeed possesses her powers, the experience he just went through should make sense. With the blessings of the scriptures, the ceremony concludes. The father begins to read a passage that invokes a vision of the protagonist's past life. The protagonist understands that the passage is about magic itself and starts absorbing a significant amount of magic within his body, drawing the attention of others. The ceremony concludes successfully, and the father notes that the protagonist seems to have acquired a unique and powerful ability. Grateful, the father gives him a few coins, and the protagonist learns that his contribution benefits the church. The father expresses gratitude and wishes for his son's future protection by God. Later, they shop for sweets, and the father asks about the protagonist's preference. However, the protagonist is unable to decide, pondering how many years it's been and noticing some options that stand out. His father urges him to pick up the pace. Eventually, their shopping is complete, and the vendor gifts them 2 extra apples due to their enthusiasm, greatly pleasing the protagonist as they appear the most luscious. Meanwhile, the father checks the coins they received, noticing they've been given silver coins. He deduces that the seller, lacking understanding, must be a war-acclaimed peasant who earned his title. Despite this, it won't deter him from his intentions. The father hopes the seller won't take offense. The protagonist savors the refreshing tartness of an apple, a taste he hadn't experienced in years. The father agrees not to reveal to the sister and mother that they enjoyed the most delicious apples. With the acquired ingredients, the protagonist envisions creating an apple pie, cakes, and caramelized apples, a step towards realizing his dream of a world abundant in unique sweets. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more anime videos.